Well, hello, young and the restless daily recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, August the 3rd. I'm sorry, Friday, August the 30th. Well, Phyllis gets Nick to sit down with her. She's at Crimson Lights, and he was getting water. I'm sorry, coffee and snacks for those, at the hospital. And she wanted him to just sit down and talk to her because, this has to be dredging up old memories for him when it had, but Phyllis said she wanted to see Lucy, but they want her to wait until Lucy gets home. But she and Summer decided that they're going to go see Lucy today. And she, because they kept Lucy overnight. So, and she asked how Faith was, and he said they're just running some tests, but she should be coming home soon. And she's like, Nick, sit down, just sit down. How are you really? How are you feeling? I know this has to be dredging up, old feelings. And he goes, yeah, it's in my head, but you know what? Faith is going to be fine. This isn't the past. And she goes, good, because you're not blaming Daniel and Heather for this, are you? And he said, well, Phyllis, if Lucy would have stayed home like she was supposed to, she was on punishment for a reason. She would have stayed home. None of this would have happened. Phyllis says, wait a minute. You're not blaming Lucy, are you? Yeah, Phyllis. Yeah. And you should be having a stern conversation with your granddaughter, too. She snuck out. I don't even know if she's told her parents yet how she got the vodka. Only Faith told Sharon because Nick wasn't even there. She snuck into a bar where anything could have happened to her 14/15-year-old behind, right? Stole the booze. She could have got arrested, could have a record now. And she went to the park and drank. Now you stole the booze, chick. You think you would have snuck back home and just drank in your room. Your parents weren't home. They wouldn't even checked on you. They'd have peeked in and said, oh, she's still here, right? But now I'm gonna go back to a public park where now I'm just intoxicated. Any man predator can come by. I mean, just so much could go wrong with her actions. But you're not gonna blame Lucy. She's just a kid. She made a mistake. Oh, could have been a deadly mistake, Phyllis. But see, Phyllis takes that stance when it's anybody related to her. If this would have been flip flopped and somehow Faith had been the one drinking and Lucy, like the whole Cassie situation, but Lucy was driving. Oh, Phyllis would have been deaf on. It's Faith's fault. You and Sharon should have kept her better. Oh, Phyllis is relentless that way. But oh no, don't blame Daniel. Don't blame Lucy. Shut up, Phyllis. I was like too through with her. Get out of here. So he didn't stay too long. And Daniel had told Heather that, he feels Sharon blames him. And Heather's like, don't do that. Don't do that. And oh, Heather's just, we're going to get her through this. And this is nothing like the past. And they shouldn't blame you. It's, this is just so long ago. Oh, really? But their daughter's still dead. Some parents never get over it. Never. Sharon and Daniel especially, pretty much stayed out of Sharon's orbit. He was more in Nick's orbit than Sharon's, right? Yes, he would go into Crimson Lights, but usually Sharon, you never really saw them interacting. It's this whole storyline that they're going through now. That's with Lucy talking to Faith and coming to Faith's house, all that kind of crap, right? So anyway, let's see. Summer and Claire run into each other at the park. And they have, a little strained conversation at first, but Summer's finally dropping the attitude because Claire's done wonders with Harrison. And she's saying Kyle has little Harrison. He took him somewhere. And Claire said she has the so Heather Summer says, so what's in the bag? She goes, oh, a gift for our grandparents. And it's strange for Summer to hear her say our grandparents, right? Because now Summer's not the only granddaughter. She wasn't. I mean, let's face it, little what's Victoria's daughter's name? I forget her name. Katie. Little Katie's a granddaughter too. Okay. So, but now we got one her age, Summer's age, pretty much. And so there's a little family tree, and she goes, oh, and there you are, Claire Newman, because she said the family wanted her, or she was thinking of changing her name to Newman, last name, and the family urged her to do it. They thought it was a good idea. And Summer said, really? Even Cole? Because, see, realistically, Victoria was married to Cole, and she had Cole's last name. So on the birth certificate, I'm sure if they dug it up, it has Eve. It doesn't say Eve Newman, or does it? What's when Eve was born? I kind of think there was, from what I'm hearing, there was some kind of rift between Victoria and Cole at the time. So perhaps there wasn't, the name was of Newman was on the birth certificate. I don't know. But either way, just interesting that we ignored daddy's last name and we're gonna use Newman. We're just gonna stick with that, right? Because see, Katie and Johnny are Abbotts. They're not Newmans. Reed is a Holstrom. He's not a Newman. So anyway, Summer said, "Oh, they did. Okay, well that's nice." And so she goes, and that's why she had the family tree. And she goes, "Oh, and there you are, Claire Newman." Okay, you know. So she was saying, "I heard you got a job offer," and Claire's like, "Yeah, you know," and she's like, "I bet you want me to take it, huh?" And so Summer said, "Actually, no. I hope you turn it down." And Claire looked at her, and Claire's like, "Oh, you don't want me working with Nikki again. You still don't trust me, you know, because I was her assistant and I did what I did." And Summer's like, "No, that has nothing to do with it. They trust you. I see you've changed." She goes, I said I was hoping you wouldn't take the job for Harrison's sake." And Claire looked at her. She goes, he's quite fond of you and he's accustomed to you and you work with him very well. I would hate to change that for him. So that made Claire feel good, actually, like, oh my God, she's acknowledging I'm doing a good job for Harrison. So Claire kind of like, well, I actually turned them down because of Harrison. So anyway, they, had some little pleasantries and yada, yada, yada. So Mariah goes by Sharon's house and she could hear Sharon just, yelling at the top of her lungs at Cameron, right? Just wigging out. And Mariah comes in and she goes, Sharon? And she's looking around the room. She's like, who were you talking to? What? I could hear you before I even came in yelling in here. Well, it's how I unwind. I come in here and I get, energy off my feelings off my chest and energy out there. So, you know, she goes, better I do it here alone in my own home than in public where everybody's now going to worry about me. And Mariah's like, well, I guess. Okay. So she's talking to Sharon. Now you can see in the picture where Mariah is to Sharon. Sharon is looking far to the right of Mariah. I mean, nowhere near Mariah. Like, here, look, camera here, Sharon here. And then she's like, shut up. And Mariah's talking to her, and she's like, Mom. And Cameron's talking in Sharon's ear, and she's like, uh, Mom, what? She's like, I'm worried about you. Well, you shouldn't be. You don't need to be. I mean, look, obviously, okay, you said you needed to get stuff off your chest. Well, listen, I'm here. I'm a good sounding board. I could take it. Just yell at me. Yell. What do you need to get off your chest? And Sharon's like, no, that's not necessary because now Cameron's still talking, right? And she's still breaking away from Mariah's face, looking at Cameron over here, looking at Cameron over there. Oh my goodness. And I'm fast forwarding because I'm like, I can't stomach this anymore. So they're going to go back to the hospital. Mariah says, we could ride together. And Sharon says, no, I'm going to change my clothes. I'm going to take my car because I'm probably going to want to stay with Faith longer and you have to get back to the office. And Mariah says, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. So I'm going to see you there. So she's like, okay. So Sharon gets to the hospital first. And she goes to where Faith's bed is. And Lucy wakes up from some nightmare. And Daniel and Heather were there. And Faith. And because I guess the sheet is open and Faith is not in her bed. Where's Faith? Where's Faith? They said, honey, they're taking Faith for some tests. She's, is she okay? Are you just saying that? Is she okay? Because it's my fault. No, I feel so bad. This is my fault. No, no, listen, Lucy, calm down. It still was an accident. Yes, it's still your fault, Lucy. Stop coddling her with that. It is your fault. So they said, no, no, she'll be okay. So Sharon comes around and she sees that Faith's bed is empty. And it shook her to her core. So she shrinks back against the wall and is like freaking out, but not, loud or not saying anything. And Mariah comes around the corner. She goes, Mom, what is wrong? Well, because you could clearly see her. And she goes, Faith's not in her bed. Faith's not in her bed. And Heather gets up and she goes, oh, they took Faith for some tests, right? And I think Heather kind of closed the curtains between Lucy and Faith's room. And she goes, they took Faith for some tests. And Nick comes around the corner with the coffees and some pastries from Crimson. And he goes, yeah, Sharon, remember I told you they're just some tests and it'll take them a while. I bought some coffee and some snacks. And Sharon goes, oh, yeah, I know that. And after she said that, she's looking at Heather. And Heather's kind of checking it out, but, acting like she's oblivious to it. And so Sharon tells Heather, thanks for the update. Like, chick, now get out of here. So Nick says, I'm going to put these coffees down. And Mariah got a phone call from work. She goes, oh my God, I got to go this is work. I need to take this call. I'll be back, Mom. So Nick is going in to put the coffees down, and Daniel comes to him, and Daniel has to apologize to him again. And Nick says, and actually, I think Lucy was still there, but they were taking Lucy to get some tests as well. Because they may have already taken Lucy because Sharon coming was a little later. And Daniel said, I gotta apologize again. I feel so. He goes, Daniel, please don't apologize anymore. Don't apologize. You've already apologized. We know it's an accident. The girls should be going home today. So please, enough of the apologies. And he goes, okay. And so Heather looks at Sharon and she goes, you know, Sharon, um, I just want you to know that our family, me, Daniel, and Lucy, we want the best for your family. And Sharon is still, as she's talking, she's like, right? And Heather's still talking. And I'm thinking, Heather, you're an attorney. Read the doggone room. You could see this woman's, you could see the rage really cause like coming to the surface with Sharon. And Heather has the nerve to still keep talking. She says, and I mean, and hopefully, you know, there won't be, we can all focus on the girl's recovery and no focus on any recriminations. And so Sharon just looks at her and she was getting ready to snap back at her. And I think Nick came back around the corner to get in the middle of it. You know, not that there was an argument, but he came back, which kind of Sharon's just looking at her because he sees the way Sharon's looking at her, and now it's completely obvious to her how Sharon is looking at her. And I'm thinking, Heather, it should have been obvious when she said, "Thanks for the update," right? But you're gonna keep talking. Well, you got the attitude and the daggers that Daniel said he was getting. See, I guess you had to experience it for yourself, maybe, but you got it, Heather. You definitely got it. And that pretty much was it. You know, I mean, Young and the Restless move so slow. Oh my goodness. And now it's like I'm watching what 10 minutes because the whole Sharon Cameron thing, I fast forward. I can't. I absolutely cannot invest any of my time in that ludicrous storyline. So now let's go to Comic Corner. Comic Corner, Denzel. And you know, Denzel, I did not know you watched Young and the Restless. All right. Denzel says, to be honest with you, daily recaps, Adam had this whole time to tell Sally the truth, but he didn't. So that was on him, including Chelsea for not telling Billy. As much, wait, as much, oh, that you're not a Billy fan and his cheating ways, you felt bad for Sally though. Great review, daily recaps. And you know what I have been meaning to say, everybody, regarding Sally and Adam. Now we know the whole Sally and Adam love triangle, right? Adam, even when she was with his brother, what was Adam trying to do? Get Sally back, get Sally back, get Sally back. And what was Sally trying to do? Deny her feelings for Adam. But they were still there. Oh, she still loved Adam. You know, Sally has some nerve being upset at cheating. She cheated on Nick with Adam a couple of times. And the first time, Nick walked in almost right after, saw the bed unmade, Sally in her little house coat or little negligee gown or top. And she told him right point blank, yeah, she and Adam slept together. We had some issues. You know, it's like saying goodbye. Oh, okay, well, she was. But she and Nick weren't like this yet. And Nick was like, oh yeah, because you know you sniffing after your brother's woman. But it's okay, I guess, because Sally told him, even though he walked in right after, she wouldn't have ran and told him if he hadn't. But she was honest about it. Now, the next time she and Adam slept together, I don't know that she ran and told Nick right away. But anyway, because that was a long time after. Back then, the actor and actress playing Adam and Sally, you know, they were together in real life. They were a couple. The problems with couples that work on the same show is when you break up, it becomes hard to work together. I was surprised they were still together while they had her with Nick. You know, even though, let's be real, they're not real love scenes. We got a whole camera crew, director, everybody saying, cut, no, 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 move your mouth this way a little bit more, put your hair here, make it look a little believable. And they're not naked. They are not naked. But she and the actor playing Adam, that's when they fell in love, was when they were working together. So I started watching her Instagram account, and then I started seeing no pictures of her and the actor playing Adam. And she had, as of this year, early this year, started talking about, working on herself and things she's having to work through and go through and blah, 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 bettering herself. And I said, uh-oh, they must have broken up. Now that's going to be hard to now work together now that you're back in love with each other on the show when you don't even really want to be around each other at work, realistically. So if you notice this year, when they got back together again, the storyline put them back together. There was no real like spark between Sally and Adam, their characters. They immediately pretty much started them into a drama situation with Connor to kind of, you know, come between them or give them distance from that intimacy. So yeah, they'll have them split up over this. Now, Reflections of the Sun says, I can't stand Victor. He thinks because of his money and power, he can dictate what everyone does. You're spot on with Sharon and the way she stares off into space, and then she puts some laughing faces. You're hilarious. Thanks for another great recap. Reflections of the Sun also says, I agree. The writers have Sharon looking crazier each episode. After the story is over, it would seem funny for anyone to ask her for counsel on anything. Her credibility as a licensed therapist should be in serious question after this. Yeah. Tracy and Alan are so cute together. They are smitten with each other. I hope that he's actually Alan and not Martin, as some people suspect. Let Tracy be happy. We always think about that. We always wonder, when is this shoe gonna drop? But remember, Martin was an evil twin. Martin he does this mental immediately with Ashley. When he got her back to Alan's place, he immediately 180'd and started trying to do mind control and started it's hard for him to be his brother for any real length of time, right? I don't see him being able, this will be the way they just write the soap if they choose months from now for him to be Martin. That's just going to be something they decided on and wrote it in. But in real life, he could not embody his brother's good characteristics for any length of time because he's a dark person. He's a dark person. Kind of reminded me of, I loved All My Children. Loved it, right? And we had Stuart and Adam. Adam was the business-minded person, and Stuart was the artist, the, very simple, loving, caring human being. Adam had to take care of him because he had some kind of, little mental disabilities. But, Stuart still fell in love with Marion later. And anyway, sometimes Stuart would take Adam's place when he needed to, or when other people, they needed to get Adam out the way. They either had him tied up somewhere and they would have Stuart play Adam. He could only play Adam for so long. because Stuart was a good person at heart and Adam was not. Now, on the other hand, when Adam was trying to get over on people, he could play Stuart longer because Adam wasn't evil like Martin, but Adam was a Victor Newman, right? Adam Chandler. And he would be kind of comical playing his brother and having to embody lightness and a lighter spirit. And it kind of cleansed him a little bit playing Stuart. But Stuart, it weighed Stuart down trying to play Adam, trying to play dark. He couldn't do it for too long. That's just interesting. So if they choose to make him Martin, I don't see what Martin's end game would have been being with Tracy. Because for one, he wouldn't want people to know that he is still alive because he was the bad one. He was trying to actually hurt Ashley and kill his brother. So to me, he wouldn't have developed a relationship with Tracy. They would have just kind of been in Paris. Ashley is in her facility, and they would have eventually went their separate ways. Tracy would have come home like she has. So we'll see. We'll see how they're going to do that. And then Lynn says hi. I say hi, Lynn. LaShunta says, I'm over Sharon and Cameron. Uh, what's frustrating is everyone can sees it. Nobody will get her help. Daniel feels bad with Sharon's daggers. Billy got Lily first. Lily got the big head, shaking my head, plotting what got her fired. Using Catherine, shaking my head. Claire says, the story is really funny. They ask for the truth and they can't handle it. I think Billy will not forgive Chelsea since Adam was the person she slept with. Um, Billy and Sally, Billy and Sally hookup is most definitely happening. Absolutely. I can't deal with this Sharon storyline. Sharon's family knows something is not right, but everyone just looks at her strangely and keeps it moving. She is even looking strange. They are. I mean, there's come on now. I hope they don't drag the storyline out until Christmas. They need to end it now, like as in last week. LaShunta says, Chelsea, stop begging Billy. He always wants to blame Adam. Billy's ego is too big. Billy hates Adam too much. I can't believe Adam admitted he still loves Chelsea. If she tells Billy, he will want her then. Yeah, if Sally tells Billy, now he'll want Chelsea to keep her away from Billy, from Adam. uh, Billy who needs space, and I don't know, I don't know. Once he finds out Adam is still in love with her, oh no, no, no. Adam ain't getting you, right? Adam's not getting you at all. I wish they never broke. I wish they never broke up. I believe that's the evil twin. Victor's pulling the strings. Claire said no. I'm over Jack and Diane. Kyle's a wuss. He's gonna do it, meaning he's gonna file Claire. Let's fire Claire or replace her. I hope not. I hope not. All right, everybody, that's it for Comment Corner. I'll be back next week. Don't know how many I'm going to do next week, but I'll see you. I'll see you for another daily recap of The Young and the Restless.